Hello, my name is Paul While. I am the special effects artist for She, and this is my brother. We've had a long love-hate relationship, so I decided to cut his head off. As you can see here, he's very happy and charming, and yeah, we continue that relationship. I have been doing this for several years now. My role is special effects, making props, prosthetics, work on various on films, photo shoots, and any other medias that's required. When Chelsea approached me to work on She basically told me what the prop was to be made. I agreed to do so. I read the draft, and it's very good. It's a different type of tale that I've used to work with, but what attracted me is the emotions that come with it, and that really pulls it off, like the effect that you make in a movie. And to have Fiona Dourif on board is a great opportunity to work with talented actors who I know will be able to pull that effect off and really bring my props to life. In the process of the filmmaking aspect, I read the draft script and see what's needed for the effects. I communicate a lot with Chelsea and Mark to make sure that the effect is perfected and make sure what you see on screen is exactly what they want that's described into the draft. So we communicate through emails, through social media, and once we'll make the prop, of course I communicate with videos and pictures and to make sure that they're happy with the prop. And of course, once on set, we'll obviously test out the props. There's the way the films are evolved now, there's a lot of CGI. There's always that argument whether or not CGI is better than practical effects. Of course, I have a high opinion of practical effects, but also CGI also works very well if used correctly. So there's a lot of movies and TV series where they use a mixture of the two. A good example is The Walking Dead. Great example of using practical effects and CGI. For example, the very first episode, we have the bicycle zombie with the legs missing. Amazing effect, and that was all done through CGI to remove the legs, and then the whole zombie makeup prosthetics was done, and it's probably one of my favourites there in the series. So in my role, I like to continue doing that. I'm a big fan of the horror in the 80s, where a lot of practical effects was used with foam latex and prosthetics, and essentially just pulling off an effect to get a great reaction in the scene. This prop here is a severed head that I made for a previous production called One Last Hit. It was a gangster flick where they reveal like a grisly ending of an character's head in a bowling ball bag. So in this piece here, I had to cast the actor's head and then go through the process of sculpting, moulding, and then casting in silicone. What you see here is silicone and hair punched with real human hair. Which takes many hours to do so, and then you just paint it and get all the nice grisly effects as you can see here, which is all cool. So yeah, with materials as well, I like to work with silicone as well because you get a lot more realistic effect, and that's what I will be using in the She movie. When I studied art in college, it was like a fine art course, and I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go. I mean, already I'm a huge horror or movie fan, and it was only until when I was in college where I started experimenting and doing little makeup effects. So even not even makeup, it was like pastels and just making little bruises and little cuts. And from that I got a little reaction from people thinking, oh my god, this was real. So I kind of moved on from there, and then obviously with a combination of sculpting, the little figurines and designs, it just came two and two together, and I realised actually I like to do this and keep going. Well, let's work on movies, let's start bringing that to life, and I started moving on from there and then studying further courses to get me there to start studying prosthetics and prop making. I have an interest in that area. There's been a lot of controversial movies as of late, such as a Serbian film and a Human Centipede series. That it attracts the media, and with that it gets to raise attention and become very successful. With movies like a Serbian film, for example, people look too much into the violence and not actually into the film make an aspect. In my opinion, with violence, it can be done if done right, if done tastefully sometimes, but in the right context, it can be executed very well, no matter how violent it is. So I always welcome how violent you see in films. You know, I appreciate what I've seen on screen. What influences me, it was early works by David Cronenberg and Clive Barker. Amazing imagination, the stories and the characters involved. It's something that's not been matched in today's films and books. I mean, I've grown up watching like the 80s zombie movies. I love Return of the Living Dead, for example. That's always have a soft spot for that one. And films like David Cronenberg's Videodrome and The Fly. Clive Barker, of course, Hellraiser and Nightbreed. Those stick to mind to be one of my top films that I love. Ooh. Geez, I would... it would be a toss-up between Julie from Return of the Living Dead Part 3 in a full zombie outfit with all the spikes and all the piercings and stuff. Or it would be Bride of the Reanimator in Reanimator Part 2. Even though she's all gooey and all that, hey, she, you know, if you look at her, she's very attractive. And toss up between two. If I can have a threesome, then hey, let's go for that.